federal judge in California sided with schools over parents today when it comes to kids and their gender identity. Correspondent Marianne Rafferty is here with the details. Hello, Marianne.
Yeah, hi, Mike. The ruling has been made, but the debate is far from over. U.S. District Court Judge John Mendez ruled in favor of the Chico School District policy that staff did not inform parents if their child wants to change their gender identity, instead leaving it up to the child to decide who knows. He wrote, quote, "The issue before this court is not whether it is a good idea for school districts to notify parents of a minor's gender identity and receive consent before using alternative names and pronouns, but whether the United States Constitution mandates such parental authority. This court holds that it does not." Aurora Regino sued the school district for keeping her in the dark when her daughter began talking about being a boy.
Just to immediately assume that they're protecting them from an unsafe environment is jumping the gun. In my situation, them taking that initiative actually made the situation worse for my daughter.
Mark Trammell, executive director of the organization representing Regino, says it is a constitutional issue and it isn't just this case. He says, quote, "This secrecy policy reflects a growing trend of schools across the country violating parents' constitutional right to raise their children free from unreasonable government interference." Now, Trammell expects the decision to be appealed, which means this case is not over yet. Mike?
Marianne Rafferty, thanks very much. Let's bring in senior legal fellow with the Independent Women's Forum, May Mailman, and president and founder of Parents Defending Education, Nicole Neily. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
From the judge's ruling, this court is not the venue for this political debate. The issue before this court is not whether it is a good idea for school districts to notify parents of a minor's gender identity and receive consent before using alternative names and pronouns, but whether the United States Constitution mandates such parental authority. This court holds that it does not. Nicole, how do you assess it?
This is appalling, and what's frightening is what is taking place in Chino is taking place in districts across the country. My organization has identified over 1,000 school districts across America and counting that maintain these parental exclusion policies. We believe it is both immoral and unconstitutional, and we're challenging a similar policy in a district in Iowa right now.
From Jennifer Chu, an attorney with the ACLU of Northern California, quote, "The court has affirmed that in California, trans and non-binary students get to decide on their own terms when and how to have conversations about gender and identity at school and at home." Nicole, what about parents?
Parents have to sign permission slips to give their children aspirin at school, sunscreen, bug spray. So for schools to be going to these extraordinary measures to cut families out of making significant decisions about their children's lives really denies us of the right to raise our children as we see fit, to make medical decisions as we see fit. It's appalling.
Let's hear from the mom in this case.
I just want them to stop keeping parents in the dark. They were talking to my daughter about different support groups in town to help her with her transition, and then discuss breast binding with my daughter that I had no knowledge of. The goal is to make sure that this doesn't happen to any more families and kids.
May, can you blame her?
No, I mean, in this case, the school counselor talked about gender ideology with kids, asked a fifth grader for her boy name, and then, as the mom explained, talked about breast binding with the fifth grader. So, as you mentioned, one of the reasons that the judge dismissed the case is because he treated this as a matter of, it's just calling kids what they want to be called, as if we're talking about nicknames. But this is not nicknames. These are fundamental decisions about upbringing. And in America, the Supreme Court has ruled that there's no co-parents, that parents have the authority to raise their children. And that is long-standing precedent from the Supreme Court.
I want to read one more from the judge's ruling. Quote, "The regulation refrains from interfering with the established parent-child relationship by allowing students to disclose their gender identity to their parents on their own terms." May, what about that?
Well, there's multiple problems here, right? So it's not just that California is forcing children into decisions without their parents' involvement, but it's also that woke parents have more rights than parents who care about truths. So other courts have recognized parents' right to put all sorts of puberty blockers into their kids because they cite the Supreme Court rule that parents have rights over their kids. But here you've got a mom who doesn't want to put any sort of chemicals, doesn't want to castrate her children. She just wants to know what's going on in her school. And she doesn't have the right to parenthood, but somehow woke parents do.
Nicole, you make the point that it used to be that schools partnered with families in the best interest of a child, but you argue that has changed. Would you explain?
Yes, when a child used to be in trouble, they would call the family in, they would work together to figure out how to get the child back on track. Yet now we see a very adversarial relationship between schools and parents where we have district administrators that are making assumptions about whether a parent is a good parent, would be supportive, based on characteristics such as political affiliation or religion. We are a nation of laws. We believe in due process. That is an extraordinary thing for an unelected individual to try and interfere in that parent-child relationship. And so it's appalling that a school district would do that, and for them to do it to a family with their tax dollars behind their back is truly insult to injury.
May, let me give you a chance for a final word.
Yeah, so I think all I would ask for is that parents who care about truth to have the same rights as parents who want to chemically castrate their children. We have 3 district judges in Arkansas, in Tennessee, and in Florida who have struck down democratically elected state laws on the basis of parental rights. If a judge can go in and make that a parental rights decision, which is crazy, then at least you can let parents know what's going on as far as therapy in their schools.
May, Nicole, thanks very much.